New tonight at 11, concerned citizens meet face-to-face with U.S. Department of Justice officials right here in Louisville. It's our top story on the night team. I'm Connie Leonard in for Doug tonight. The groups discuss the agreement that will require reforms within Metro Police and Metro government. Senior reporter Isaiah Kim Martinez and photojournalist Addie Hill sat in on the meeting. So, Isaiah, what did we learn?
Well, Connie, some new info tonight straight from a top DOJ official from Washington, D.C., saying the consent decree negotiations could take anywhere from 6 to 9 months. But as we've reported, the negotiating process is being kept confidential from the public, and some folks in attendance tonight asking why that's the case.
I'm concerned about the inhumanity that's being practiced on my people as if we're lab rats until all of this is worked out.
Louisville citizens like Miss Monica Thomas pleading to U.S. Department of Justice officials to act with urgency and include the public in the steps toward a solution.
So I'm hoping that civilian representation is present, because again, as long as you all stay in the little box, we'll continue to have the DOJ visit various cities throughout the country.
We saw signs reading "Justice for Breonna Taylor" and "Arrest the Bad Cops" in a packed room at the Republic Bank Foundation YMCA on Broadway. The DOJ hosting a community meeting to update the public on the status of the agreement that'll dictate LMPD's path forward. Officers and the chief herself in the room.
Identify all the changes that are going to have to happen in the police department.
It's been just over a year since the DOJ report came down, highlighting a police department said to be littered with corruption. As one DOJ official put it, that was the diagnosis period. Now it's about prescribing a cure.
And I am here because I really believe that we can solve these problems.
In February, federal and city leaders began negotiations on a consent decree, the settlement that'll require LMPD make a list of reforms. Those talks are happening behind closed doors, alarming those whose trust in these entities remains severed.
It's the Black community that bears the brunt of that.
Attendees also express continued concern over officer supervision and what they describe as an environment where reporting bad behavior can come with punishment.
The culture is not a welcoming culture for an officer to expose another officer that puts his life in danger, that puts his family in danger.
The DOJ is assuring the community they won't leave until the city and police department have proven they've changed and can maintain those changes. And the DOJ did mention LMPD has done some good things here to improve its culture, including opening that new wellness center last year. Now the next public meeting is set for April 16th. That's over Zoom. We have those details up on our website, WHAS11.com. Connie.
Isaiah, thank you so much. Kentucky men's basketball head coach John Calipari is leaving Lexington after 15 seasons. According to multiple reports, the head coach is heading to Fayetteville to coach at Arkansas. WHAS 11 sports director Kent Spencer is here to tell us about the latest details. And Kent, there has been no official word yet from either university still, right?
You are 100% correct, Connie. Since there's been a delay in the official announcement, it's easy to start to wonder what's going on. Multiple reports say Calipari will officially sign his deal with Arkansas tomorrow, and that's when we'll get the official announcement. The deal will reportedly be for 5 years. We'll pay him around $8 million a season, plus it'll be incentive heavy. Calipari will leave Kentucky after 15 years on the job, winning 410 games, which is second to only Adolph Rupp in UK history. He won a national championship, took the Cats to 4 total Final Fours, plus 3 Elite Eight appearances. However, the bulk of his success came in his first 6 years on the job. The thought with Calipari after this season, a season where Kentucky failed to make it past the first weekend of the NCAA tournament once again after losing to Oakland in the first round, he would make a few changes on his coaching staff, get more organized. He didn't make a single staff change. I'm told this isn't the first time he's had interest in other jobs. Last year, he was interested in Texas. This year, he had an interest in Ohio State, Michigan, and SMU. Calipari says yes to Arkansas after Ole Miss's Chris Beard and Kansas State's Jerome Tang both said no. Now, if Kentucky would have fired John Calipari after this season, they would have owed him $33 million. That was the buyout. Since he's leaving, nobody owes anybody anything. Now, who will replace
That's
Coach
the
Cal
question.
at Kentucky? We're going to take a closer look at some potential candidates coming up a little later in sports.
Hearing a lot of names. Thank you, Kent. Well, fans are already making their voices heard. Many fans we spoke with not as upset by the news of Coach Cal leaving, pointing to a lack of tournament success over the last 4 years.
Over the years, you know, the last 4 years, we keep getting all these draft picks, #1 draft picks, first-round draft picks, and then we're not producing anything. At first, he brought a lot of excitement. You know, Drake hangs out with the team. I wonder what's going to happen with Drake now.
Well, right now, there has been no official word again from either school on Coach Cal. Should that change, of course, we will keep you updated on air and online. Again, we'll have more in sports in just a few minutes. LMPD's homicide unit is working yet another case of deadly violence in Louisville. This one happening in the late morning. Police say officers rushed to a shooting just after 10 a.m. at the intersection of Woodland Avenue and Cypress Street. At that scene, they found a man shot who EMTs were not able to save. Police say all parties are accounted for and that there was no threat to the immediate area. The deadly shooting also happened within 50 yards of a memorial to children that were killed in homicides across the Kentuckiana area.
We have to continue to teach what that is. We have to continue to teach who we are. The killing has to stop. Mothers is crying, grandmothers are grieving, and our children are being orphaned.
LMPD says detectives are working to figure out what led up to that shooting. Again, they say all parties have been accounted for. However, they would not say if that includes the suspected shooter or if they expect to charge anyone. Today, Governor Andy Beshear vetoed 2 pieces of legislation aimed directly at Louisville. The first, a House resolution that creates a task force looking into JCPS. In Beshear's veto message, he called the measure unconstitutional. Beshear said people of Jefferson County should make decisions about the public school, not lawmakers. The resolution called for a review of JCPS's performance and the possibility of splitting up the district. The governor also vetoed a bill that would require future Metro Council and mayoral races to be nonpartisan. In Beshear's veto message, he said that the people of Jefferson County voted to form this type of government by popular vote. He goes on to say that in passing the bill, the legislature is claiming that it knows better than the people and called the bill anti-democratic. Now, the legislature will reconvene at the end of this week and will have an opportunity to override the governor's veto. Not to be overshadowed, all eyes, of course, were on the sky for the great American eclipse today. The path of totality crossing right through Kentuckiana, the spectacle lasting nearly 4 minutes with all eyes watching the sky. All day, we had crews in the path of totality from French Lick to Seymour to Louisville. Now everyone is taking time to reflect on the momentous event. WHAS11's Taylor Woods caught up with a few folks as they reminisced on the once-in-a-lifetime experience.
Thousands of visitors in French Lick, Indiana camped out in lawn chairs looking high into the air at the solar eclipse. Lots of cheers and claps could be heard when the town cooled off as it plunged into darkness.
Oh my God, it's like day turned to night.
Yeah, I thought it was going to rain, to be honest.
The amazement caught on camera by several people, while totality lasted just over 3 minutes.
I was pretty amazed at how long the darkness went on and how cool it was.
This experience has been the best for spectators like Dominic Silverstreet, who saw a couple eclipses.
I didn't expect that at all.
Exactly. That ring around it, just like, wow.
Across the river in Louisville, Kentucky, hundreds gathered at the waterfront taking in the views. This was the first solar eclipse for Cassidy Garrett.
It was yellow and orange mixed together. So it's like a yellowy orange.
Garrett didn't have school today like most kids. The weather was even nice with no rain, which was a plus for her and her family.
I think it's cool to see her see things like this for the first time. You know, she's growing, she's putting concepts together, she's learning about it in school. So to kind of get to be hands-on with it and see her enjoying it.
This school experience was a first for many kids like Shiloh Bryce.
Good, I thought it would be.
While the next solar eclipse won't be until 20 years from now, some are planning where they will be and how old they will be.
He's going to be pushing his grandpa in a wheelchair, hopefully. And yeah, I'm going to be 63, I think. So
I'll be 30.
He'll be 30.
Making this eclipse one of the best in history. Reporting in French Lick, Indiana and Louisville, Kentucky, Taylor Woods, WHAS 11 team on your side.
The next solar eclipse will take place 20 years from now in 2044. It will travel south from Greenland through Canada before fading away as it reaches the northernmost U.S. states. Louisville won't see another eclipse for another century.